I've been searching for the central idea of the text all day. All the clues finally led me back to my office to read the text again, and there I was in the middle of reading my nonfiction text when finally it hit me. The central idea. But how did I get there? Let me fill you in on the case at hand. Earlier in this course, we learned that fiction writing is made up from the author's own imagination. This unit is all about nonfiction. Nonfiction is writing that is based on real facts, events, or people. Nonfiction is informative, like the textbooks, atlases, and encyclopedias that provide facts and information about topics. Nonfiction also includes chronological accounts of individual lives, like memoir, autobiography, and biography. In this video, we are going to learn how to find the central idea of a nonfiction text. To do that, we will pick up on clues to identify the author's purpose, structure of the text, and supporting details. We'll put it all together, and by the end of this video, we'll be able to find the central idea. In fiction and poetry, we took all of the elements and used them to determine a theme. In nonfiction, we are trying to determine a passage's central idea. The central idea of a nonfiction passage is what the text is all about. Let's start reading and looking for those clues I mentioned earlier. First up, identifying the author's purpose. The author's purpose is why they are writing the text. Are they trying to provide us with information? Entertain us, persuade us to believe their claims? Let's read the text and see if we can find our first clue. If you go to Canyonlands National Park, you are sure to see some interesting markings that many call rock art. But these rocks tell a deeper story. For example, a figure on a horse means the marking was made more recently than a figure with only a spear. Petroglyphs are carved or scratched into rock, and pictographs look like paintings or drawings made with pigment on the rock's surface. Some act as records of wisdom or maps, while others represent parts of society, culture, and religion. All were left by indigenous people for those who would follow, passing knowledge to future generations through images. Why is the author writing this? What's their purpose? They're not trying to convince us or persuade us. It's not to entertain us. It seems like they really want to explain something and give us some information here. That's our first clue. Now that we have an idea of why the author is writing the text, we can look for our second clue. Let's identify the structure of the text, which, as you may recall, is how the author organizes all of that information. Authors use 5 different text structures to organize their information. They are cause and effect, descriptive, compare and contrast, chronological, problem and solution. If you need a refresher on these text structures, take a look in your PDF. Let's look at our text again. We know that the author's purpose is to explain or give information. What kind of structure are they using? I noticed some signal words that can help me identify the structure, like for example and look like. I think it's a descriptive structure, where the author describes petroglyphs and pictographs, giving us lots of information. We know why the author is writing the text and how they structure their information, but what exactly are they saying? Time for the third clue. The supporting details that the author provides. Supporting details are the evidence the author uses to explain, prove, and support their central idea. What details does the author use to explain themselves? I found society, culture, and religion, and left by indigenous people. Pause the video and try to find some more supporting details. What supporting details did you find that the author uses to explain themselves? Maybe you said records of wisdom or maps, or passing knowledge to future generations? If so, you'd be right. We identified our 3 clues: the author's purpose, why they're writing the text, the structure, how they're structuring the information, and the supporting details that support the central idea. So, what central idea do these supporting details support? We know that the central idea is what the text is all about. The central idea is not just 1 or 2 words. The passage doesn't have a central idea of rock markings, but what might the central idea actually be? We know the author's purpose, to give information. The structure of the text is descriptive, and we found supporting details like passing knowledge to future generations and records of wisdom or maps. Where do all these clues lead us? The central idea. Pause the video and come up with a central idea. Maybe rock markings pass information down from previous generations, or people today can learn from the wisdom indigenous people recorded on rocks. Let's try to find the central idea of a different text. Remember, we're going to identify the author's purpose, the structure of the text, and the supporting details. What's an abacus? What if I took away your calculator? Would you be worried? Today, we rely heavily on calculators and computers, but what did people use in the past? The abacus has been used since ancient times. An abacus is made of rows of movable beads that slide towards or away from a bar while the user counts. While both the calculator and the abacus are used to count, one difference is that calculators don't allow the user to feel what they are counting. The abacus is also used to keep score in many non-electronic games. Try to put down your calculator and do calculations the ancient way, with an abacus. Clue 1. What is the author's purpose? Pause the video and take a look. You should have said that their purpose is to persuade the reader to use an abacus. We know this because... Clue 2. What is the structure? Pause the video and take a look. You should have said that the structure is a compare and contrast structure. Some key words that gave that away were... Clue 3. What are the supporting details? Pause the video and take a look. The supporting details are, since ancient times, made of rows of movable beads, calculators don't allow the user to feel what they are counting, and used to keep score. These all help to emphasize something about the abacus for us, the reader. You found 3 clues. You know why the author wrote it, how they wrote it, and what details they used. So, what's the central idea? I'd say the central idea is, even though the abacus is an ancient tool, it still has value today. Or, the abacus can be just as useful as a calculator. If you had something similar, that's okay too. Finding the central idea is a really useful skill that you'll be able to use right away. Most of the questions in this unit will ask about the central idea of the text or the clues that lead you to it. You'll also be able to use these skills in general in life, like when your boss sends you an email and you need to figure out what they're telling you, or when you read a chapter of a textbook and need to find its central idea. As for me, the case may have been solved, but a good detective never rests.